When we're experiencing an emotion, our body is in a state known as fight, flight, or freeze. And when we are in this physiological state, the part of our brain that helps us do high-level judgment, reasoning, and decision-making is actually turned off. So before we can try and solve the problem we're dealing with, we have to resolve how we're feeling in order to get that light back on. The simple 3-step process that we're going to use to do this is known as emotional literacy. Step 1 in emotional literacy is to frame the emotion. This is essentially acknowledging that you're having an emotion and figuring out what that emotion is. We begin framing it by having an understanding of what our body does when we're in an emotional state. So maybe your throat gets tight, maybe you blush, maybe you're somebody who clenches your fists. You have to know what your physical signs are, right? When you see those physical signs come forward, that is your cue to pause and fan it out to see if you can figure out what the emotion is. So fanning it out, you're gonna pause and say, how am I feeling? Am I mad, sad, bad, glad, scared, surprised, right? It's always gonna be one of those 6. So you're gonna fan it out, and let's say you say, I feel sad. Then you can ask yourself, well, to what degree do I feel sadness? Am I a little melancholy or am I depressed? Once you've given it the proper depth, the final piece is to simply own that emotion by saying, I feel blank. I feel overwhelmed. I feel lonely. I feel joyful. Now recognize it's I feel, not I am, because emotions are meant to move. And remember, this part is crucial because the first step of moving through an emotion is stepping into that emotion. Now, once you've named that and claimed that for yourself, the next step is to feel it. And feel it is essentially when we turn our empathy inward and remove the judgment that we might hold against ourselves for having an emotion. Remember, it's okay to be wigging out and having emotions. We just don't want to wig out about wigging out. So when you say, I feel embarrassed, this is an opportunity to go, okay, that's cool. I'm a human being. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm feeling embarrassed. This will pass, right? That's going to start moving us into the final step, which is to free it. Now, again, I would love to tell you that you can just say, I free you shame, or I free you embarrassment, but that can take more work. Freeing it simply says, I understand now that my body just went through a physical process where it believed it was going to die. I need to do something physically to close that cycle, to bring myself back into a point of stability so that I can move forward and figure out what's going on. So we're talking about freeing it. We're talking about things like getting some water, taking a walk, taking a nap. Maybe you need to eat. Maybe you need a good night's rest. Suffice to say, you have to do something for yourself physically. Let your body know that everybody's on the same page. We're okay, and that'll get that light back on.